Live.
Mr. Nedved, please, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Gentlemen, any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Well,
Actually,
there is.
Commissioners.
We have one addition.
Actually, Commissioners, if I could direct your attention to add item 8. Item 8 is a budget amendment for the Allegany County Animal Shelter, and it would read as follows. Board of County Commissioners to approve a supplementary appropriation to the Allegany County Animal Shelter to be dispersed from funds the organization would otherwise receive in the passage of the FY 2020 budget effective July 1, 2019.
That'd be added as item number 8, without objection.
Do we need a motion to add item 8, or we'll just make a motion to accept it?
Yeah, when we accept it. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from the last public business meeting?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
First up, we have our longtime friend, Juliana Albowitz. Please, come on up
To the,
to the podium.
Do I get to speak first?
please.
It's such an honor and a privilege for me to join you all tonight, and it's with sad memories that I have. Happy memories, but sad moment right now. After 15 and a half years of coming up and representing 2 different senators, I have decided to make my retirement effective May 7th. It's been an honor and a privilege knowing and serving you all, bringing Washington to you and taking you to Washington, D.C. I really appreciate our camaraderie, and if there's anything I can do in my retirement, please let me know, because you can always reach me through my dear friend Robin Summerfield. And tonight I'm here with my dear friend Sarah Roth, who is with Congressman Trone's office. She's new, but she's very eager to get going, so I'll leave it open for Sarah. But I do want to leave you with some thoughts of my own. And as Senator Mikulski, my former boss, said when she retired 2 years ago, I'm going to quote the senator, "Though I'm turning a new page, make no mistake, I'm not writing the last chapter. Goodbyes are not forever. Goodbyes are not the end. They simply mean I'll miss you until we meet again." And last but not least, goodbye tension, hello pension.
Well, Julianne, I got the privilege of being with you for the last 9 years. And one thing I'd like to say and everyone to know, there was never nothing politically motivated about you. You've never, ever looked at that. It was always, what can I do to help? And on behalf of the citizens of Allegany County, we certainly appreciate that, because you've always been there for us, so thank you.
And we all wear the red, white, and blue, so it didn't make a difference to me. I always respected the office that you all hold.
So,
Juliana, it's been a pleasure to get to know you over the last 5-6 years, I guess, going way back. So we do have a citation for you tonight, so please come on up.
please, to the center.
We have a capacity crowd for you tonight. This is an official citation.
When we get together, if it's Robin and Jake and I always felt like he was our child. Robin was the father and I was the grandmother.
What do you say? Are you and Robin married? There you go. All right, this is an official citation.
It reads, "The Board of County Commissioners deeply appreciates and highly commends Ms. Juliana M. Albowitz for extraordinary constituent service provided to Allegany County government during her tenure as Special Assistant to Senator Barbara Mikulski and Western Maryland Outreach Director for U.S. Senator Christopher Van Hollen. as presented this 25th day of April 2019. Signed all three commissioners, Creed Brody, Dave Caparelli, and Jake Shea. Juliana, thanks. One more? We'll get one. Oh. Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank
I'm so glad the bridges are so close.
I know. We can go, that's going to be your swan song.
Thank you.
And I also wanted to echo what a pleasure Juliana has been to work with and a delight to be around as well. Wish you the very best in your retirement. Thank you.
Goodbye tension, hello pension.
I like that. I'll write that down.
Rudd, put that in the book.
Yeah.
That's right, that's our sayings.
that with you.
I will put that one in there. We also have Sarah Roth from Congressman Trent's office. She did email everyone. The congressman actually is opening a district office in Cumberland. So that'll be the first time since 2012 that we will have a congressional office in Allegany County. So I emailed back, but I would also like to publicly thank Congressman Trent for doing that, because that means a lot to us. So thank you.
We look forward to seeing you there.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, next up to our public hearings, we have Mr. David Nedved with the Maryland Department of Housing, Community Development Block Grants. This is a public hearing for various things.
Projects.
Yeah.
Yes, Commissioners. This is a public hearing. This is actually a required public hearing, but I'll get into that. These are public hearings for, first, it's a chance for anyone to express comments, concerns about community development, economic development, and housing needs. And then also, it's a public hearing to discuss or to just cover the Locust Grove Improvements Phase 1 project and the Locust Grove Sewage Improvements Design Project, the Flintstone Wastewater Treatment Plant Preliminary Engineering Report, the Old Town Wastewater Treatment Plant Preliminary Engineering Report, and the Bowling Green Improvements Project. Notice was given in the Cumberland Times News on Saturday, April 20th, 2019, that the Allegany County Commissioners would sponsor public hearings on the above subjects. The reason we're covering these projects and opening up for community development, economic development, and housing needs is because there's funds coming from the Maryland Community Development Block Grant Program. It's a federally sponsored program designed to assist local governments with activities directed toward neighborhood and housing revitalization, economic development, and improved community facilities and services. CDBG funds are provided to the state of Maryland from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, and it's administered by the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. Every year, we can apply for up to $800,000, but it is a competitive process. And currently, the reason we're having all these public hearings is we have been awarded $1.66 million in CDBG funds for the projects that I'm discussing. The Locust Grove Sewage Phase 1 project is something that we're going to submit an application for. We have to do that by June 5th, and one of the things we have to do is hold a hearing on that. The application itself is available. Do I need to stop?
No, they were turning off the echo.
They didn't want to
You
hear.
sound like a ghost.
We're going to submit an application by June 5th, which is the deadline, And we're going to be applying for $800,000, an additional $800,000.
Very
We've
good.
already gotten $800,000 for design. We're going to ask for another $800,000 toward construction of the Locust Grove sewage pumping station. The Bowling Green Improvements Project and the Locust Grove, the design project for the Locust Grove are both funded partially by CDBGs, and the Flintstone preliminary engineering report and the Old Town preliminary engineering report are both being entirely funded by CDBG. The background for each project was available on the county's website and has been up there since actually last Friday, and it'll be up there for a while. The application itself for this go-around is available for review if anybody's interested. And at this point, let me see if anybody is here to discuss any of these projects.
This is a public hearing. If you'd like to comment on the Locust Grove sewage improvement, Flintstone wastewater, or the Old Town wastewater, please. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nedved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving to our action agenda, we have the Maryland Jobs Access Reverse Commuter Grant. Ms. Tanya Gomer, welcome.
Thank you, Commissioners. We are seeking a 3-year grant for job access to take from Cumberland and a door-to-door access point to the North Branch Industrial Park. The businesses out there have expressed concerns that they're having a hard time getting second and third shift employees due to transportation issues. So this grant opportunity would be 3 years. It is $150,000 a year with a $30,000 match from the county that would be able to do door-to-door access. And, you know, if possible, we could get this resolution, we could have this grant application submitted this week, and fingers crossed, we should see a significant increase in the amount of people having access to quality jobs at North Branch.
Wonderful. And Tanya, thank you for your work on this. Administrator Butler, thank you for working on this for a long time. So I will make the motion that we accept this grant. Is there a
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving to our consent agenda. Mr. Butler.
Commissioners, good evening. Item number 4 is the Lavelle Toll House Cedar Shingle Roof Replacement Bid Award. Item number 5 is a surplus property. Item number 6 is transfer of the surplus property, and so is item number 7. And as advertised at the top of the agenda, item number 8 is a budget amendment for the Allegheny County Animal Shelter.
All right, is there any discussion?
No, sir. I'll make a motion, we accept the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Rudd.
I have nothing.
Mr. Butler.
Commissioners, thank you very much for the Job Access Reverse Commuter Grant. One thing I did want to add is that Courtney Thomas Winterberg with the Department of Social Services is also adding some of her funds as part of that local match for that grant. And so fingers crossed on that. We have a very, very good consortium of individuals and organizations there. Also want to point out that we're still accepting applications for the Commissioner's Fellowship. We already have a number of applicants, very good applicants for this year's pool, and that application process will continue until April 30th.
Very good. A few more days for that. Commissioner Caparelli.
Nothing to add tonight.
Commissioner Brody.
Sir, nothing. I would like to get on to constituents because I have another meeting this evening.
I
so-
think that's a good idea. Okay. First up, we have Ms. Michelle Ingroni with the U.S. Census.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Just get that out of the way. My name is Michelle Ingrodi, and I am with the U.S. Census Bureau. In 2020, we are going to conduct the decennial census, which determines how we spend about $700 billion in federal funding. To do so, we are hiring about 1 million people throughout the United States and our territories, and 566 of those positions are here in Allegany County. They are $18.50 an hour, so they're very high paying. We have full-time and part-time, and it's very, very easy to get hired. There's minimal requirements. You have to be 18, a U.S. citizen, have a valid social security number, and be registered with Selective Service. So we're not looking for anyone that has degrees or experience or anything like that. When we do not get a complete count, which means your response from the census when we mail it out, per person, our county will lose about $19,000 in aid from the government. So if we can get everyone hired, we can get a complete count. So when I left my house today, I had about 280 applications, and about 265 of those were qualified. It doesn't mean they'll be hired. It doesn't mean they'll accept the position. So I'm struggling to get to our 566. So if there's anything you guys know of, any creative ways to get the word out, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'll say we're also on the track of doing this. We're in the process of setting up a complete count
Yes.
committee, I guess,
Yes.
with your colleague from Hagerstown and some of our people here. But that is the key. For every person that doesn't answer the census, locally, we lose $19,000 in federal aid over 10 years. So it's tremendously important. Frostburg has had one of the lowest response rates.
Because of students.
I don't know if it was in the state or the country, but it's actually where you stay the night of March 31st, April 1st, 2020. So if you're enrolled in school, that's where you should be counted for the census. So that's kind of what we're going to do, and obviously we'll make sure you're invited to that select or complete count kickoff. I think it's going to be in this room. Linda, do we have a day? Someday? Okay, well, I think it's going to be sometime in May, but obviously that's going to be a big piece of it, is getting Frostburg involved and the students.
Yeah, we are meeting on campus to start a complete count committee with students as well.
Right,
to
so
try and get them involved.
I think that would make a lot of sense, is hiring students and also getting them to, get the other ones to fill out the census, because it is tremendously important. So I think we can get your information. Would they contact you directly or
Nope, everything's on here.
all online? So maybe we can put a link to the website.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely, we can.
we can certainly do that, because that's a good part-time temporary job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, you can put it to the record wherever you want.
Thanks,
Okay.
Michelle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Mr. Gene Fouts. Please.
Yes, I'm from the Barton Fire Department. I put in for the LoSAP program and was turned down for it. I called Mr. Brody, and he was getting in touch with Roger Bennett, which never called me after I called twice. I went to the last meeting in Lonacone where they signed everybody up for it and said everybody was in it except me. I've got 54 years in it. And still they say I didn't sign up for it originally 10 years ago in Westernport. I've got my chief, secretary, treasurer, we all signed up together.
Okay.
Glitch in the paperwork, they said. So, but they still turned me down.
Is it? Yeah, we got it. Let's see what we can do. Is that administered through the state, or is that through us?
That's to us through
State
it's kind of like
is-
an insurance policy
Yeah.
that was taken out. So
Okay.
Steve Kessner is who administers
Yep.
that.
Gotcha.
And I apologize, Gene, because
He
I
didn't
made two
even-
calls
I
on
talked to
it.
him, and he didn't even tell me who his boss was. Well, somebody's gotta be the boss.
Well, let's see what we can do on that one, and we'll see if we can
Okay.
get that resolved for you, okay?
Okay.
And thank you for bringing your information.
Yeah, and we do have a copy of all that.
All right. Next up, we have Mr. Kenneth Wilmont.
Kenneth Wilmot. I live at 513 Fort Avenue. For the last 9 years, I've been attempting to bring to your attention the problems at the animal shelter. And now they have got to the point where they're unacceptable. They want $125,000 this year. Next year, they're going to want twice that much. Number one, they haven't operated the shelter in the interest of the taxpayer, not for a single minute. It's all animal protection, a free pet store. You go out there right now, you'll see cats running everywhere. According to the law, you're supposed to keep the males and females separated so they don't have more. They even have a nursery out there so that when a pregnant cat comes in, they nurse her through her pregnancy, and then we got more cats. That's not what we're paying them people for. Now then, they claim that they got a 90% adoption rate. According to figures out in the newspaper, they claim that they're rescuing 1,700 animals a year. Okay. You divide that by 12, the intake is 142 animals per month. And then, let's just figure out the 90% adoption rate that they're claiming. That means they've adopted out 131 animals from 142 intake. That leaves them with 11 animals to play with. Now, how can they justify all this intake when they ain't got nothing to work with out there? Now then, let's go. Every couple of weeks, they have a fund drive. Here's one from 2012. 6 tons of food and supplies they got. Here's one from 2017. They're having, in December, they have fundraising everywhere. Timbrook, Subaru, Nittenberg, Frostburg, Sanctuary World, everywhere. Everybody's giving them money. At my church, we got a youth group. They donated, just recently, 6 carloads of supplies for that place. Gave them $98. Now, you can't convince me that these people need any help. They cannot justify a penny, not a single penny. And you should never bow down to them. It's absolute blackmail and extortion. If they would have told me, I either get this or that, I'd have said, baby, there's the door. Don't come back. And I'd put somebody out there to run that place. Now then, just for example, here it is, 2011. Animal Shelter receives very generous gifts. Management Foundation has received $25,000 from the will of Timothy Shea. Okay, good, $25,000. That buys a lot of food. Now then, we get down there, here's another one. There's another lady, Michelle Ingrati, who runs Charm City Animal Rescue, a nonprofit organization in Baltimore, also receives $25,000. Charm City's mission is to rescue and provide sanctuary and new homes for abandoned, stray, and neglected animals. Now let's go forward about 6 years. Show you how good these rescue centers operate. Cat rescue operator faces counts of neglect. This is Thursday, January the 5th, 2017. 97 counts of neglect have been filed against Michelle Ingrati, owner and operator of the Feline Animal Rescue in Allegany County. Total of 97 cats were seized on December 29th and 30th.
Mr. Wilmot, we're going to need to wrap this up a little bit, or
Can I have
get-
my extra 5 minutes?
You can have an extra 2, but we need to stick to the points here a little bit.
What points?
Okay?
That they're not doing their job, and that you never had any, when you had this meeting with these people, where was the public input? We had no chance to sit there and listen and make our points.
Well, I wasn't here, but I think Commissioner Brody was here when they decided to do that with the shelter, and I'm pretty sure there was significant public input.
No, there wasn't. I didn't see any in the paper. That's a bunch of baloney. You people do everything behind the door where people can't get to. It's terrible. It's a disgrace that you allow these people to walk over you and spit in your face and trample on you. You need to get rid of that no-kill shelter. They've already deleted the bird population. So I hope you're satisfied. I wouldn't want it on my conscience, and I made a decision that eradicated all the birds in Allegany County, because that's what they've done. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, with that, our next public business meeting is Thursday, May 9th, 2019, not 18, and that will be the first reading of the budget as well. We'll see you then.
Were you able to adjust the sound?
No, the
They locked it up. We said this the other day.